What is going on YouTube, and welcome to a video here where I'm going to talk about the A7 IV and really answer the question for you guys. Should you buy the A7 IV in 2023? Is this still a relevant camera? And I'm going to go ahead and just tell you guys right now, this camera is absolutely top notch. Now it does have some weak points, and I'll talk about the two main weak points, but this camera is absolutely my workhorse camera. It really was the first professional camera that I bought, and right when it first came out, and I really must say that this camera blew me away. The image quality coming out of this camera is really top notch. It has a 7K sensor in it that really makes that 4K look really crisp, especially at 24 frames per second. Now, right now I'm shooting on a FX3, and I must say the image quality coming out of the Sony A7IV is just ever so slightly better, and I must say that that's probably because of this 7K sensor. Now, there are some big weaknesses though that maybe the A7 IV may not be for you, and you might want to consider if this is important to you or not. And those two main weaknesses is pretty simple. At 4K, there is a crop, so it does pull in a little bit in your image, which might work to be a benefit for some people. I have used it as a benefit myself to get a little bit closer to my subject matter. But for those that really want that full frame look at all times, it does crop in, and it does cause you to kind of have to adjust where you are placed sometimes physically because you've been moved a lot closer to your image digitally. Now, is that really a con? I mean, it's really up to you. Again, I use it as a zooming factor, but again, you're at 60 frames per second means that you're eating more data on your memory card because it is more higher of a frame rate. Now, it does not include 4K 120 frames per second. And for those of you that are wildlife shooters or maybe sports or something high action or high intensity, this camera may pose a challenge for you in those regards because it just doesn't have those higher frame rates to capture video at those really quick bursts of moments or really quick speeds. So I would say that that's probably a con, but you know, I would say that's probably more of a con than the 4K 60 cropping in, to be honest. But I would not really count that one. I'll leave that up to you guys if that's a con. But definitely not having 4K 120 frames per second for what you're paying, you know, it is a bum. But you are shooting everything at 4:2 10-bit. I mean, there's so many benefits. If you've watched videos about this camera, you know that this camera is top notch, and the image you get out of it is just absolutely incredible. And I still pretty much get compliments on this camera's image output at the end of the day. Now, buying this camera is not going to make you put out a really good image, and let me clarify that it actually took me about 6 months to really truly be able to use this in pretty much any situation and really get a good image. Yeah, I know, that's 6 months, and that's with experience of using cameras prior. So, you know, that wasn't coming into this blind. I kind of knew what I was doing, but there was just some features on the camera I just didn't know. Like, for example, shooting at, you know, ISO 400 and ISO 800 and ISO 1600, like these base ISOs, as if this is a dual base ISO camera. And I don't think it is, you know, I'm not gonna really get into the technicalities. This can be used professionally. I've used this on professional gigs. I've used this for weddings. I've used this for performances. I've used this for business videos and corporate videos. I've used this for, you know, live speeches, interviews, and even videos like this for YouTube right now. So, you know, this camera can pretty much do anything you throw at it. But one of the major weaknesses that I did not mention yet, and this is really a legitimate fallback on the camera, is that it does overheat. Yes, the camera overheats. So I would say the main issue is pretty much, you know, you don't have 4K 120 frames per second, and I would say that the camera overheating on you in situations that you really need to rely on it, it can fail you. You know, you can do everything right, and if the temperature is really hot outside, and especially you have some lens that it's driving, that it does a lot of features like additional like focus breathing things or stabilization, that is making the camera drive and do a lot more digitally, causing it to generate more heat. And you really shouldn't have to like open all these ports and things to dissipate heat and open up the screen, and you shouldn't have to do that. You should be able to just use a camera like I am right now, my FX3, and I just let it run. Like, it shouldn't have to do all these like workarounds and throw it in airplane mode and all this stuff to make it stay cool and not overheat for a professional gig because you're relying on this one camera to capture the moment. That shouldn't be the case. but unfortunately it is, and that would make this camera pretty much almost perfect if it didn't have that issue. And that's why, you know, they didn't put the fan and all the ventilation on this, because they didn't want people to use it that way. You know, I think Sony really wanted you to be a hybrid with this camera. You know, photos, yes, it takes phenomenal photos, and then turn around and do video. Photo, video, which is exactly what I do. But I would say it's more on the photo side when it comes to its strong suit. The photos coming out of this camera is absolutely mind-blowing. But from the Sony side, this is one of the best Sony cameras you can buy right now, because it just does a little bit of everything. So I hope that answers the question for you guys. And moving forward, I plan to do more videos like this on this channel. I don't normally get on the camera on this channel and talk like this about camera equipment or gear or how we do what we do. But I want to do that more because I want to talk to you guys and create more of a camaraderie here with my customers and of course my clients. But more importantly, those of you on YouTube that are trying to make films and do things as well too. And I realize that I have maybe something of value to offer. And so I want to jump on the camera and start doing this a little bit more often. So expect more camera gear videos like this and maybe other content related to video production in general. So anyway, guys, I hope you guys stay positive, keep your heads up, definitely continue to grow in your art form, and I will talk to you guys later. See ya.